The observation veil hung like an invisible tapestry around Earth, undetectable to the primitive technologies that blossomed beneath it. For centuries, the Galactic Council had maintained these clandestine monitoring systems around countless developing worlds, their presence unknown to the species they observed. Earth was simply the latest addition to their vast collection of studies. From the Grand Council chamber aboard the massive station Celestial Nexus, Ambassador Zyler watched the holographic projection of Earth with undisguised contempt. The swirling blue orb, marred by sprawling cities and pollution, represented everything the far-lexian diplomat distrusted: chaos, unpredictability, and unchecked emotion. Another report of nuclear weapons testing, Zyler announced to the assembled council members, his translucent tentacle-like appendages gesturing in agitation. The fourth this solar cycle. These humans continue to demonstrate their inherent volatility. Elder Lyra, her ancient form barely visible beneath flowing robes of luminescent material, drifted forward. Unlike most council representatives, the Etherian elder had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations across her millennia-long lifespan. Ambassador Zyler, she spoke, her voice carrying the gentle resonance characteristic of her kind. We must remember that all spacefaring species experience developmental turbulence. The directive of non-interference exists precisely to allow natural evolution without our judgment affecting their path. With respect, Elder, Zyler countered, the Prime Directive was established when threats remained localized. Humans are approaching technological thresholds faster than anticipated. Their quantum physics research has accelerated dramatically in the last decade. Their chaotic nature combined with such knowledge presents a genuine risk to regional stability. The chamber, hosting representatives from over 200 spacefaring civilizations, hummed with murmurs of agreement and dissent. The discussion about Earth had become increasingly divisive in recent council sessions. Ambassador Mokhtar of the Vrexian Confederation, a militant species known for their strategic brilliance, joined the debate. The historical data is clear. Species that develop interstellar capabilities while still mired in territorial conflicts invariably cause disruption. Better to establish parameters now than manage crises later. Elder Lyra's crystalline eyes narrowed. Parameters, Ambassador, or control? Before Zyler could respond, the chamber's central projector flashed an alert. All attention turned to the unexpected transmission from Earth's observation team. Council members, began the lead observer, a Quantarian scientist named Vex. We have detected an anomalous launch from the human territory designated North Korea. The propulsion system exceeds their documented capabilities by 27%, and trajectory analysis indicates potential for achieving escape velocity. A ripple of alarm spread through the chamber. Humans weren't supposed to be approaching orbital escape capability for at least another decade. Containment protocols? Zyler demanded. Unnecessary, Vex responded. The vehicle experienced catastrophic failure at high atmosphere. However, debris analysis indicates quantum entanglement components we hadn't anticipated in their technological progression. Silence fell over the chamber as the implications settled. Humans were experimenting with quantum technologies far earlier than projected, the very field that eventually led to faster-than-light travel. Zyler seized the moment. Distinguished Council, I have warned of this eventuality. Humans combine dangerous aggression with unpredictable innovation. I propose immediate implementation of Project Temperance, a calibrated intervention to guide their development along safer parameters. Intervention violates our most sacred principle. Elder Lyra objected, her form glowing brighter with emotion. Not intervention, Zyler corrected smoothly. Guidance. Subtle course corrections to prevent a potential threat to galactic stability. The Prime Directive permits flexibility when containing potential threats. A vote was called. The debate raged for hours, with factions forming along predictable lines. The militarist and pragmatist blocs aligned with Zyler, while the traditionalists and spiritualists supported Elder Lyra's call for continued observation only. In the end, Fear proved more persuasive than principle. Project Temperance was approved by a narrow margin, with strict limitations on methodology and duration. As the council dispersed, Elder Lyra approached Xyler privately. "You've crossed a dangerous line, Ambassador. The humans are not what they seem." Xyler's skin rippled in the Farlexian equivalent of dismissive laughter. "They are precisely what they seem, Elder. Primitive, emotional, and dangerous. Project Temperance will ensure they remain. Manageable until they mature, if they ever do." "Pride," Elder Lyra whispered, "has been the downfall of species far more advanced than yours. On Earth, blissfully unaware of the fate just decided for them, General Eva Rostova stared at satellite imagery that made absolutely no sense. The hardened Russian military commander had seen many inexplicable things during her 30-year career, but the weather patterns developing over the Pacific defied all meteorological models. Perfect spirals of cloud formations appeared and disappeared with mathematical precision, as if drawn by an unseen hand. "Dr. Thorne," she called to the British physicist working furiously at a nearby terminal, "please tell me your calculations offer some rational explanation." Ariadne Thorne, once Oxford's youngest tenured professor and now heading the United Nations Anomalous Phenomena Division, didn't look up from her screens. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun, eyes fixed on equations scrolling past. "Nothing natural explains it, General," she finally said. "These formations exhibit properties consistent with deliberate energy manipulations. The symmetry, duration, and energy signatures suggest technological origin. You're suggesting someone is creating these storms artificially?" Rostova's voice remained steady, though her grip on her coffee mug tightened. "Not suggesting, confirming." Dr. Thorne turned her screen toward the general. "Look at this pattern analysis. There's a clear algorithmic signature to these events, plus trace quantum fluctuations identical to those we detected during the Brazilian blackout last month and the communications disruptions across Asia." Security Director Hiroshi Nakamura, representing Japan's Defense Intelligence Agency, joined them with a tablet displaying his own concerning data. His usually impassive face showed rare tension. "General, Doctor, we've detected another anomaly. Psychological profile data from population centers affected by these events show statistically impossible alignment in emotional responses. Fear, aggression, and paranoia spike in synchronized patterns across diverse demographics." The three leaders exchanged grave looks. They represented the core of Project Aegis, a classified global initiative formed after multiple governments independently detected inexplicable patterns in global crises over the past 5 years. "This confirms it," Rostova said quietly. "We are being tested." Dr. Thorne nodded. "Or probed. The escalating pattern suggests systematic evaluation of our responses." "By whom?" Nakamura asked the question they'd all avoided stating explicitly. Dr. Thorne's gaze drifted to the window, to the sky beyond. "I think we all know the answer to that, Director. The question is, what do they want?" In the observation vessel orbiting Earth at a distance designed to avoid detection, Ambassador Xyler reviewed preliminary data from Project Temperance's initial phases. "Fascinating resilience," noted Science Director Zen, a Medusan whose neural network glowed visibly through translucent skin. "The humans adapt faster than anticipated to environmental stressors. Note how quickly they deployed resources to the Indonesian archipelago after our induced tectonic activity. And their technological redundancy is impressive," added Security Commander Kraz, a reptilian saurian whose species valued practical military assessment. "Despite our targeted electromagnetic disruptions, they maintained 73% communication efficiency through backup systems we hadn't identified." Xyler moved through the holographic displays, studying footage of human responses to the carefully orchestrated crises. "Increased testing parameters by 15%. I want to see stress responses under more significant pressure." Commander Kraz hesitated. "Ambassador, the Council authorized graduated escalation over 6 orbital cycles. We're barely into the second." "The data justifies acceleration," Xyler insisted. Look at these cooperation metrics between traditionally hostile nations. They're exhibiting unusual unity in crisis response. We need to probe deeper, find the breaking points in their social structures. There's something else, Science Director Zen interjected, bringing up a new display. We've detected unusual energy signatures from several Earth facilities. They appear to be using quantum shielding techniques that partially obscure our deep scans. This caught Zyler's attention immediately. Impossible. Their quantum theory development is at least a century from practical application. Nevertheless, Zen continued, these signatures share characteristics with primitive quantum encryption. It appears a small group of humans may have made unexpected theoretical leaps. Zyler studied the data with growing concern. This unexpected development could jeopardize Project Temperance's carefully calibrated approach. If humans had achieved even rudimentary quantum manipulation, they might eventually detect the Council's presence. Implement Phase 3, ordered. Focus disruptions on these facilities. We need to understand exactly what they're doing and contain it if necessary. Neither Zyler nor his team noticed the faint, rhythmic fluctuations in Earth's ionosphere, fluctuations that perfectly match the operational cycles of their own observation systems. In the underground facility, known only as the Vault beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Thorne watched as the quantum entanglement detector registered another spike. There, she pointed to the display where Director Nakamura and General Rostova stood. Fourth confirmed signal in the last 6 hours. They're scanning us with increasing frequency. The Vault represented humanity's best-kept secret, a global defensive initiative that had operated in absolute secrecy for over 15 years. Born from the convergence of unexplained phenomena and breakthrough quantum physics research, Project Aegis had united former adversaries under a single imperative: prepare for possible extraterrestrial contact or threat. The pattern recognition algorithms are certain, Nakamura confirmed, studying his own terminal. These are targeted scans, not natural phenomena. They focus primarily on our quantum communication experiments, defense installations, and major population centers. General Rostova's weathered face hardened. Then we've confirmed hostile intent. They're not merely observing anymore. They're actively interfering and targeting our defensive capabilities. We can't be certain they intend harm, Dr. Thorne cautioned. This could be their version of first contact protocols, however misguided. Intent is irrelevant when the outcome is suffering, Rostova countered. The weather anomalies have caused thousands of deaths. The psychological manipulation has incited violence in 17 regions. These are not the actions of a benevolent observer. Director Nakamura's terminal chimed with an urgent alert. The quantum shield around Facility 7 in Japan has detected an attempted penetration. Energy signature matches previous incidents, but at significantly higher power. Dr. Thorne moved swiftly to the central command station, her fingers flying across the specialized interface. They're escalating. This isn't a scan. It's an active attempt to disable our quantum network. Can they succeed? Rostova demanded. Not immediately. The distributed architecture was designed to withstand unknown attack vectors. Dr. Thorne's expression remained focused as she implemented countermeasures. But they're learning, adapting their approach with each attempt. Then so must we, Nakamura said quietly. It's time to activate Prometheus Protocol. The statement hung in the air. Prometheus represented the offensive capabilities of Project Aegis, technologies developed not merely to detect or defend, but to reach out and touch whatever might be watching humanity from above. General Rostova nodded solemnly. Authorized, but we proceed with caution. First, we need to pinpoint their exact position and capabilities. Already working on it, Dr. Thorne confirmed. The quantum entanglement signatures leave traces we can follow back to their source. With enough data points, we can find them. Nakamura completed her thought. And then, General Rostova's voice was steel. Then we sent a message they cannot ignore. Aboard the observation vessel, alarms blared as systems across multiple decks reported anomalies simultaneously. Status report. Zyler demanded, rushing to the command center where his crew worked frantically to identify the cascade of system failures. Commander Kraz looked up from the security terminal, genuine confusion visible even on his reptilian features. Unknown, Ambassador. Our quantum shields are experiencing interference patterns we cannot identify. Observation systems are going offline sequentially. Impossible, Zyler hissed. Human technology cannot affect our systems. Run diagnostic sweeps. This must be an internal malfunction. Science Director Zen's voice carried unusual tension. Ambassador, these are not malfunctions. Our systems detect coherent quantum manipulation targeting specific vulnerabilities in our shield harmonics. The pattern suggests intelligence. Before Zyler could respond, the ship's primary lights flickered and died, leaving only emergency illumination. The holographic displays showing Earth vanished, replaced moments later by a single image that should have been impossible, a perfect rendering of their own vessel, viewed from outside. They see us, whispered a junior officer. As if in confirmation, a transmission cut through all communication channels simultaneously, bypassing encryption protocols that should have been impenetrable to human technology. A human female voice, calm and precise, filled the command center. Galactic Council, you have crossed the line. The interference ends now. We will talk. The message repeated in perfect galactic standard, a language no human should have known existed, let alone understand. Worse, the transmission carried embedded quantum signatures, proving it originated from Earth's surface. Commander Kraz moved to activate defense systems, but the controls remained unresponsive. Ambassador, we've lost operational control of weapons, propulsion, and communication arrays. We're effectively immobilized. Science Director Zen's analysis came next, her voice barely steady. They've deployed some form of quantum field around Earth. Our long-range sensors can no longer penetrate the atmosphere. For all intents and purposes, Earth has disappeared from our detection capabilities. Zyler stood motionless, his species equivalent of shock, rendering him temporarily speechless. The implications were staggering. Not only had humans detected their presence, but they had also developed technology capable of neutralizing a council vessel's advanced systems. Most disturbing of all, they had somehow deciphered the council's language and communication protocols. Impossible, he finally whispered. They are primitive, fractured. They cannot have achieved this level of technological sophistication without detection. As if in direct response to his disbelief, massive holographic projections appeared in Earth's atmosphere, visible even from their orbital position. Human figures, representatives of various Earth governments, stood hundreds of meters tall, their images projected through technology that shouldn't have existed on the planet. The transmission resumed, this time with visual accompaniment. General Eva Rostova's stern face filled their view screens, her military uniform adorned with medals speaking to a lifetime of command. Ambassador Zyler of the Farlexian delegation, acting under unauthorized Galactic Council Directive Project Temperance, your actions constitute an unprovoked attack on a sovereign species. Your interference has caused death, suffering, and destruction across our world. This ends immediately. The shock of hearing his name and position from a supposedly primitive human sent ripples of fear through the command crew. Their cover was not merely compromised, it was obliterated. How is this possible? Zyler demanded of his science team. How do they know who we are? Science Director Zen analyzed incoming data with growing alarm. Ambassador, the quantum field they've deployed appears to be extracting data directly from our computer systems. I believe they've been harvesting our own intelligence against us. A new face appeared on the transmission. Dr. Ariadne Thorne, her expression calm but determined. For decades, we have detected anomalous quantum signatures in Earth's vicinity. Project Aegis was established to investigate these signatures and develop countermeasures against potential threats. Your escalating interference merely accelerated our timeline. The transmission shifted to Director Nakamura, whose disciplined demeanor betrayed no emotion. We have downloaded the location of the Galactic Council headquarters, comprehensive data on member species, and complete technical specifications of your vessel. This information has been distributed to secure facilities across Earth through quantum-entangled channels you cannot intercept or destroy. The implied threat was clear. Even if they somehow regained control and destroyed the humans who had contacted them, the knowledge was already beyond their reach. General Rostova returned to the transmission. You will remain in your current position. Attempts to activate weapons, engines, or long-range communications will result in immediate defensive measures. Representatives of Earth's United Governments will board your vessel in exactly 6 hours to establish terms. Prepare accordingly. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Commander Kraz recovered first. Ambassador, we must attempt to break free and contact the Council. If they have our data, every member world could be at risk. They're bluffing, Zyler insisted, though uncertainty tinged his voice. They cannot possibly have developed quantum technology sophisticated enough to... His words died as every personal communication device on the ship simultaneously activated, displaying the same message. This is not a bluff, Ambassador Zyler. We see you. We hear you. We know you. Across the vast expanse of the Galactic Council's central chamber, chaos reigned. The emergency session, called without the customary preparation period, had devolved into shouting matches between various factions as the implications of the Earth situation became clear. How could this happen? Demanded the Hive representative of the Tixla Collective, their compound eyes flashing with agitation. A pre-contact species does not simply develop quantum countermeasures overnight. Elder Lyra moved to the center of the chamber, her ancient presence commanding attention even amid the disorder. Perhaps they are not as pre-contact as we believed. The question before us is not how this happened, but what we do now. The Grand Arbiter, a massive silicon-based entity who served as the Council's highest judicial authority, spoke with the rumbling voice of shifting crystal. The situation is unprecedented. Ambassador Zyler exceeded authorization by accelerating Project Temperance without secondary approval. Yet the humans have responded with technological capabilities that violate all developmental models. They hold our ship, our crew, and our ambassador hostage, noted the Vrexian representative grimly. This demands military response. To what end? Countered Elder Lyra. If their claims are accurate, they possess our technological specifications and defensive algorithms. More importantly, they have demonstrated capabilities we did not anticipate. Escalation serves no logical purpose. The debate raged on as the Council struggled to process the reality that a species they had classified as primitive had not only detected their presence, but effectively neutralized a Council vessel using technology that should have been centuries beyond their reach. Finally, the Grand Arbiter called for order. We have received transmission from Earth's representatives. They request, no, they demand, a diplomatic delegation of highest authority to meet on their world within 3 solar cycles. They offer the safe return of our observation vessel and crew in exchange. It is not a request. It is an ultimatum, hissed the Vrexian representative. It is an opportunity, corrected Elder Lyra, one we would be fools to reject. After hours of contentious debate, reality prevailed over pride. The Council voted to send a diplomatic mission to Earth, led by Elder Lyra herself and representatives from 5 major Council powers. For the first time in the Council's 12,000-year history, they would meet with a species on terms dictated by the younger race. As the diplomatic vessel prepared to depart, Elder Lyra received a private transmission from the observation ship still held in Earth orbit. Ambassador Zyler's usually confident demeanor had crumbled, replaced by genuine fear. Elder, you don't understand what we're facing, he whispered. These humans, they've been watching us while we watch them. The quantum technology they possess. It's unlike anything in our records. They didn't just detect our presence. They've been studying us systematically. What are you saying, Ambassador? Elder Lyra asked, though she suspected she already knew. I'm saying Project Temperance didn't reveal their true nature. it revealed ours. And they found us wanting. On the observation vessel, now effectively a detention center, Ambassador Xyler paced the confines of his quarters. 6 hours had passed since the humans' ultimatum, and now he awaited their arrival with a mixture of diplomatic preparation and primal dread. The ship's systems remained largely under external control, with only basic life support and internal communications permitted to function normally. Attempts by Commander Kraw's security team to regain control had been met with increasingly sophisticated countermeasures, each demonstrating that the humans were monitoring every action aboard the vessel. When the boarding notification finally came, it wasn't through the ship's compromised systems, but as a direct neural relay, another technological capability humans should not have possessed. 6 humans materialized directly in the command center, bypassing the ship's quantum shields using transport technology that matched or exceeded the Council's own capabilities. General Rostova led the delegation, accompanied by Dr. Thorne, Director Nakamura, and 3 others whose identities Xyler's intelligence had not previously cataloged. Ambassador Xyler, General Rostova began without preamble. Your council has agreed to send a diplomatic delegation. Until they arrive, you and your crew will remain here under observation, just as you have observed us. Xyler struggled to maintain diplomatic composure. General Rostova, surely you understand that our actions were merely precautionary. The Council bears no ill will toward Earth or humanity. Precautionary? Dr. Thorne's voice carried cold precision. You manipulated weather patterns that killed thousands. You induced psychological responses that led to violence and unrest. You attempted to destabilize governments and infrastructure. These are acts of war, Ambassador, not precaution. How? The question escaped Xyler before he could maintain proper protocol. How did you detect us? How did you develop quantum technology without our knowledge? A slight smile touched Dr. Thorne's lips. Perhaps you should consider that your assessment of humanity was fundamentally flawed from the beginning. You saw what you expected to see, a fractured, primitive species consumed by internal conflicts. Director Nakamura continued where she left off. What you fail to recognize is that humanity's greatest strength lies precisely in what you perceived as weakness. Our diversity, our competition, our ceaseless questioning of established truth. These drive innovation at rates your models could never predict. Project Aegis was established decades ago, General Rostova explained, after multiple governments independently detected quantum anomalies consistent with observation technology. Rather than announce these findings publicly, we chose to watch our watchers. Impossible, Xyler insisted. Our stealth technology is based on predictable quantum harmonics, Dr. Thorne interrupted. Impressive, certainly, but once we understood the underlying principles, developing countermeasures was simply a matter of theoretical application. One of the previously unidentified humans stepped forward, an older man with dark skin and penetrating eyes. Ambassador, I am Dr. Isaiah Washington, theoretical physicist. 23 years ago, I detected the quantum signature of your observation systems while researching subspace field theory. Instead of publishing my findings, I was approached by what would become Project Aegis. We've been preparing for this moment for a very long time, General Rostova stated flatly. Your Project Temperance merely forced our hand sooner than planned. The implications staggered Xyler. Humans hadn't just recently detected their presence. They had known for decades and had been developing countermeasures in secret while presenting a convincing facade of ignorance. What do you want? He finally asked, the question at the heart of all diplomatic exchanges. Justice, said Director Nakamura. Accountability, added Dr. Thorne. Equality, concluded General Rostova. When your council delegation arrives, we will negotiate terms for humanity's entry onto the galactic stage, not as subjects to be studied or controlled, but as equals with sovereign right to determine our own path. And if the council refuses? General Rostova's smile contained no warmth. Ambassador, we have already demonstrated our capabilities. We possess your star charts, your technological specifications, your communication protocols, and detailed information on every Council member species. Consider carefully whether the Council wishes humanity to make its galactic debut as a friend or an adversary. In the historic meeting 3 days later, humanity formally introduced itself to the galaxy, not as a petitioner seeking admission, but as a force demanding recognition. The Council delegation, led by Elder Lyra, arrived to find not a primitive world grateful for contact, but a united global power with technological capabilities that defied their developmental models and a righteous anger that could not be diplomatically soothed. The negotiations took place in a purpose-built facility in Geneva, neutral territory by Earth standards. Quantum dampening fields prevented any unauthorized communication or surveillance, ensuring the discussions remained private despite the intense global interest in the proceedings. Elder Lyra opened with a formal apology for Project Temperance, characterizing it as an unauthorized deviation from Council protocols. General Rostova's response set the tone for everything that followed. Elder Lyra, while we accept your personal regret, let us be clear. Project Temperance was not an aberration, but the logical conclusion of the Council's paternalistic approach to developing species. Our analysis of Ambassador Zeiler's data reveals 17 similar interventions across the galaxy in the past millennium alone. Director Nakamura continued the calculated offensive. The systemic issue is the Council's self-appointed authority to judge which species are ready for galactic inclusion and which require guidance. This fundamentally violates the principle of sovereign development. Throughout the negotiations, the human delegation demonstrated disturbing familiarity with Council history, internal politics, and even classified interventions on other worlds. Each revelation strengthened their position. The old approach of managed contact was no longer viable. Dr. Thorne presented the core of humanity's demands. The Earth Galactic Accord will establish a new relationship model based on mutual respect and non-interference. Earth will not seek traditional Council membership at this time, but instead proposes special observer status with veto authority over matters directly affecting our solar system or pre-contact species. You ask for unprecedented privileges without accepting the responsibilities of membership, objected the Vrexian representative. We ask for acknowledgement of rights that should have been self-evident, General Rostova countered. The Council's history of unilateral intervention demonstrates why. Traditional membership would simply legitimize a flawed system. For 7 days, the negotiations continued, with humanity refusing to yield on core principles while demonstrating surprising flexibility on technical matters. They accepted limitations on immediate spatial expansion, agreed to regulated technology exchanges, and committed to non-aggression principles that calmed the Council's security concerns. In exchange, they secured unprecedented autonomy, including the right to establish independent diplomatic relations with individual Council species and an ethics oversight commission with authority to investigate alleged violations of species sovereignty, a direct challenge to the Council's historical practices. Elder Lyra, alone among the Council delegation, seemed to grasp the true significance of the moment. During a private conversation with Dr. Thorne, she confessed, "You have achieved something remarkable, Doctor, not merely forcing concessions from the Council, but compelling us to confront uncomfortable truths about our governance." "That was always our intent, Elder," Dr. Thorne replied. "Humanity doesn't seek to destabilize galactic society. We seek to improve it. The Council has maintained peace, but at the cost of stagnation and paternalism. Perhaps what the galaxy needs most is a disruptive force to challenge comfortable assumptions." On the final day, the Earth Galactic Accord was signed. Humanity had successfully leveraged its momentary advantage into lasting protections, fundamentally altering a power structure that had remained largely unchanged for millennia. Ambassador Zeiler, recalled to face censure for his role in the diplomatic crisis, watched the signing ceremony from detention. His once certain worldview lay in ruins, demolished by humans who had proven more perceptive, more adaptive, and ultimately more dangerous than any model had predicted. "You still don't understand what happened, do you?" Commander Kraz asked during their final meeting before transfer to separate transport vessels. Understand perfectly, Xyler replied bitterly. I underestimated a primitive species and paid the price. Kraz shook his head. No, Ambassador. Your mistake wasn't underestimating humans. It was believing our own rhetoric about the Council's superiority. We've been telling ourselves comforting lies for so long that we mistook them for universal truths. As their vessel departed Earth orbit, Xyler watched the blue planet recede from view. The humans had agreed to release the observation ship and crew as a gesture of good faith, though they had thoroughly extracted all useful data first. Beyond the viewport, Earth seemed unchanged by the momentous events of recent days. Its oceans still glittered in sunlight, its atmosphere still swirled with clouds, its night sides still glowed with the lights of human civilization. Yet everything had changed. The observation veil, once the symbol of the Council's unquestioned authority to monitor developing worlds, had been not merely pierced but shattered beyond repair. In its place stood a new paradigm, one where younger species might demand recognition before the Council deemed them worthy. Humanity's rage, Xyler murmured to himself, recalling the fierce determination in General Rostova's eyes during that first confrontation. Not blind fury, but righteous indignation channeled through discipline and intelligence. Perhaps the most dangerous force in the galaxy. On Earth, as news of the Accord spread to a population still struggling to adjust to the reality of extraterrestrial contact, reactions ranged from celebration to apprehension. The future remained uncertain. Would the Council truly honor an agreement reached under duress? Would humanity's unity, forged in crisis, endure now that the immediate threat had passed? Could Earth truly claim its place among the stars without losing what made it uniquely human? In the chambers of Project Aegis, now transitioning from a secret defensive initiative to humanity's first galactic intelligence agency, General Rostova, Dr. Thorne, and Director Nakamura shared a rare moment of relaxation. To unexpected success, Rostova toasted, raising a glass of vodka. To humanity's future among the stars, Dr. Thorne added with her glass of whiskey. To vigilance, Director Nakamura concluded solemnly, completing the toast with sake. For this is only the beginning. Outside, the night sky glittered with stars, no longer distant points of light, but potential destinations, homes to civilizations both allied and adversarial. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy not as a supplicant, but as a force to be reckoned with. The line had been crossed. Humanity's rage had transformed into calculated action, and the galaxy would never be the same.